Good evening, everyone. How y'all doing today? This is Yusuf Chowdhury once again, tuning in live from San Antonio, Texas. It is 8:59 p.m. Central Time. Just give me a minute here. Let me share this streaming on my Facebook business page. Can you all hear me clearly? Okay, so today's topic still going to be about your website. Is the website working for you or against you? And I believe yesterday there were some great questions about one second. Let's see, Marisol, if you're back, let me know so I can start analyzing your website and your local listing. Okay, if you're here, do let me know. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the subject, and that is, can the website work for you or against you? So, well, there are a few things I want to cover here tonight that will help you to basically improve and make the website actually work for you. So if you don't have this sort of thing, it means that it is actually working against you. Make sense? So I'm going to go through a couple of notes here on bullet points. So I would say the first thing really, and I did mention this week, I would say the first thing is when you build a website or when you have a website, the first thing is really you have to and understand who is your ideal audience, who is your ideal customer, right? Who are you targeting, right? That should be the first thing, because there are website out there that when I look at it, it really doesn't tell me exactly what I'm supposed to do, or it doesn't even tell me who is it for. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Okay. So I would say that could be the first thing. Again, it's you have to identify your audience. That's very important. Then the second thing I would say, when it comes, I'm gonna go back and forth on a technical stand, and I'm gonna cover some of the topics within the user experience, some technical, some on page. So it's gonna be all mixed. Then I'll make sure that you write all these points down. Okay, so we talked about how you need to identify your audience if you want your website to work for you, right, and also for your target audience. Let's talk about, is your website mobile friendly, right? You have to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. Why? Because all of us, almost, I think probably 9 out of 10, I think 10 out of 10 already have mobile devices, of the people, right? They all have mobile devices, and most of the devices are smartphones. And what happens is the majority of the time when they check something, whether through the voice or through Google, they do view your website, you know, from the mobile device. So that means your website has to be mobile friendly, okay? Or it should be designed for mobile devices so your audience can have an awesome experience. Does that make sense? Thank you for the hearts, my man Steve. How you doing, bro? So you have to make sure your website is mobile friendly. It's a responsive based design. And what's happening, and this is where I advise other advertising agencies, those companies that build website, you need to think mobile first before you think desktop. Okay, think mobile first, because everything is mobile based. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you have to understand how your users are behaving when they check the website from the mobile device. Is it very fast? Are the fonts clickable? Are the fonts bigger, or is it dark, or is it light, right? So make sure your your website is mobile friendly. Now, if you're not sure whether your site is mobile friendly or not, there is a tool from Google called Mobile Friendly Test that you can use. Let's check it out. So basically, you can go to this link right here. Just go to Google and do a search for mobile friendly test, right? Then you're going to see this thing right here. It's a long link, not easy to remember. So once you click on this one, mobile friendly test, Google Search Console, then you basically put your website right here and run a test. Then this Google tool will tell you if it's mobile friendly or not. Okay, Steve, I'm going to build a studio at my PC shop after listening to Live Streaming Pros. That's awesome, man. But remember, here's the thing though. Are you designing mobile first and this time with Elementor? That's an excellent question. Before designing, to me, like with my team, design is not the first priority. Our first priority is that what is the niche of the business? What does the client want from his or her customer? And what kind of activities the website visitors need to do when they visit the website? Do they need to subscribe? Do they need to schedule an appointment? Do they need to make a call? You see, the first thing is understand the audience, then set up a strategy before the design. So design doesn't come first, right? We come with the strategy, or what we call sometime buyer's persona, or the buyer's journey. So when they come to the site, where do they go, or what can we make them, or we should show them what they need to do. Make sense? So before the design, those are very important. Know the audience, understand the objective of the website, and what is the buyer's journey. So when they hit your website, what's the first priority thing? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to set up an appointment? Do you want them to get an estimate? Okay, and again, this is based on the niche, it's based on the business. Make sense? It's based on the business. It's based on the business. So come with the strategy, come with the plan, then it comes to design. So when it comes to design, we focus on the mobile first, because and the mobile is simple. We make sure that everything is more simplified than the desktop. A desktop can look a little bit fancy, but the same fanciness might be reduced a little bit on the mobile device, right? So that's how we typically like to do. Would you like to be a guest for the, what do you call it, for the studio that you're going to start? Yeah, of course, man. Why not? I'll be more than happy to stop by. But here's the thing, though. I love, like I said, Laurie's and David's live streaming and shows. And I don't agree with everything they say. I would say I agree with most of the stuff they teach, but not everything. Because the question that you had to ask right now, let's say you set up the studio, you're going to make awesome live streaming production style. My question is, why? Like, why do you want to do that? And how many times are you going to put in? Are you going to use it to get quality customers? Are you going to use it to put your brand as a professional business that fix PCs? I mean, you have to ask those questions first, because there's going to be a lot of time involved, right? You're going to spend a lot of time setting up the studio and start putting this amazing content, right? If you have a strategic plan that you want to somehow look at the return on investment, then yeah, does that make sense? So that's why we have to be a little bit practical. So if you're going to do that, Steve, go ahead. You have the capability, set up the studio, follow their guidelines. I believe if you go to the website, livestreamingpros.com, there are so many free lessons and PDF files that you can get it from their website and implement it. But make sure that, are you going to do this on a consistent basis? Are you going to do this forever? So, because sometimes what happens, we end up looking at the cosmetic of things. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so nice, but does it generate? Do you understand what I'm going to say? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just asking you to think about, Think about this, because you're going to spend a lot of time, and how long you're going to post this. All right, excuse me. What the heck is? What is this? What is this? Okay, my brother's sending me stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you want to do it, if you need help to come and set up, let me stop by your shop and set it up. Maybe you can live stream that and show and tag Glory and David. But make sure that whatever you're going to put effort into, somehow it has to either build your brand or generate. Make sense? Uh, Please show the Facebook ad shortcut sheet again. How to get? Oh, okay. 1 second. You need to go to this awesome company. Here we go. Advertisement, like mint instead of mint. Advertisement.com blog. This is the company. I believe the owner's name is Brian. Is it Brian? He's the one who runs this business. It's an amazing company. Most of his clients are like Fortune 500. So this is where you can go to the site under the blog and basically opt in. That's it. Opt in and get the list, get the checklist. Okay. Okay, you're gonna show laptop repair videos, live streaming it. That's good. So you can have it saved on other channels if you want. But all I'm asking that you have to have a plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna show the repairing the laptop. Does it require full studio or does it require the actual laptop itself? Makes sense. The angle has to be properly pointed at. Makes sense. So I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just saying that it's good that you're doing this. Sometimes when things look professionally, maybe that can also build credibility. But me as a person, I'm more of an action taker, right? If I'm able to set up something awesome, I'll do it. If I'm not, I still do it and just grow as I go. That way I can encourage others to start, because one of the things that makes people not to start these sort of things is the fear factor, and plus they think nothing is perfect. I want to take that concept of perfection away. Just have them get started, even if it looks like crap, no big deal. Start it in the beginning and keep improving it and learning it and move on. So there are different opinions in that matter. Some say your brand has to look good, don't look crappy. Well, I differ on that. Okay, it's all based on experience. It's also based on whatever everyone's doing, or what they want to do. Make sense? Okay. All right. So let's get back to the topic. Identify your audience. Make sure your website is mobile friendly, so you can use this tool right here. Okay. And Steve, I'm sorry, Dennis, that was your question. Are you designing mobile first, then desktop with Elementor? Like I said, it's all about audience, strategy, what you want to do, then go to the design, right? So when you work on Elementor, of course, everything is on the Elementor, right? You can make the nice design, but if you want to see how it looks on the mobile, Elementor has that feature for you, right? What I'm trying to say, do not ignore the mobile version of the website. And the mobile version of the website, Dennis, won't look exactly like the desktop. Make sense? So some of my developers, what they do, they work backward. They get the strategy, they want to do it on the mobile, then they try to do a little bit differently on the desktop. And some of my team, what they do, they build it on the desktop or the laptop, then they show how it looks on the mobile. So it's up to the developer, right? But the most important thing, Dennis, is that mobile is a must, right? So you have to focus on mobile. The reason I mentioned that, because a lot of businesses focus on the desktop and they forget the mobile completely, because it's responsive based. Because it's responsive based, that the browser is going to adjust. But that's kind of dangerous thinking, because even if the browser going to adjust the design on the mobile device, you still have to make sure how are the fonts look like, right? Are the maps easy to click on, or the font easy to click on? Make sense? So even if you start with a desktop, don't forget the mobile. Put too much effort that the mobile also look great in terms of not just the design, but also in terms of usability and the functionality. Does that make sense? So there's no right or wrong answer. You can do it either or. It's up to the developer. I have some of the team that start backwards, some start from the desktop, and because it's responsive, then they see how it looks in the response, and they can make some adjustment. They can make the font bigger on the mobile. They can make the font clickable. They can make the map not move, just solid. Make sense? So at the end of the day, make sure that the mobile version of the site is super taken care of. Hey, Krista, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Do most people look at website on mobile or laptop? Excellent question. So it depends, but most of my clients, according to Google Analytics, most of my clients' website, the majority is from the mobile. I would say like anywhere between 70, 60, and 50% from the mobile device, they view the website. Most of my customers. There are some clients that the desktop is higher and the mobile is less. Depends on the nature of the business. But because all of us, almost all of us, have mobile devices and it's a smartphone, of course they're going to check it from the mobile device. Make sense? So that means there has to be extreme focus on the mobile side. And not just that, also remember the Google voice search, right? Like the Google Home, Alexa, and all these voice search apps. So this year, I think according to Google, more than 50% will search anything on Google without typing. They're just going to talk to the browser or the mobile device like Siri, Cortana, or Alice, or Google Assistant, or the Alexa at home, or the Google Home. That's what's happening. That is a shift, right? So you have to think 10 years ahead of the time. Makes sense? So when you build a website, nowadays it's not just the mobile. We have all these brand new, and this is several years ago, all these smart TV. So if you want to check your website on the smart TV, how does it look? Right? Or the smart watch. So you gotta go with the new technologies, as soon as you can. Dennis, thanks for your tips. You're most welcome. Let me know if I was able to answer your question. Same thing with you, Krista. Let me know if I was able to answer your question. So can you talk about website hosting? Yes. First, let me stop on how can you make I can't even talk. How can you make the website work for you or against you? I talked about you must identify your audience. Number two, I talked about your website has to be friendly. Let me get back to Krista's question. Let me just minimize this. So Krista was talking about website hosting. How do you prepare for the voice activation? With the voice, I mean, that's hold on that, because that's a whole different ball game for the voice thing. Okay, I'll talk about it in a few minutes. Estacio, my friend, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Build my website. I'm doing a class on the 29th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're interested, go to the meetup. Let me show real quick. Go to the meetup. Go to, let's see. If you go to meetup.com/SA online marketing, I'm doing a workshop this month, starting the 20th, then the 24th, all the way to Anil Agrawal. What's going on, Yar? It's been a long time. How you been? How you been, my friend? So I'm doing a class this month. On the 20th, I'll talk about YouTube. On the 24th on LinkedIn, 25th on Instagram, 26th WordPress Wednesday, then 27th I believe on ADA, which stands for American Disability Act. And then on Saturday the 29th I'll do a 7-hour session right here, in my office right here, for beginners on how to build a site on WordPress. So if you're interested, if you're anybody, invite them. Okay. All right, Krista, let's talk about how can you talk about hosting. Okay, when it comes to hosting, okay, first of all, there are many kinds of hosting providers, and there are tons of companies out there, right? When you build a website, there are several languages to build a website, right? For example, HTML, XML, Java, Drupal, Visual Basic, Ruby on Rails, Expression Edge, CMS, many web languages to build a site. Then you have companies, we call these managed web services or standalone companies like Weebly and Wix and Squarespace and BigCommerce and Shopify. These companies, their whole business is to basically help you to build a website by drag and drop. That's their core service. So you can buy the domain through them and build everything through their platform, okay? Or you can buy the domain from GoDaddy and still build everything under their platform. When you do that, you have no option for you to move your website to another hosting provider. If you want to do that, you can, because that specific platform is meant for that platform. So if it's a Wix, it's going to be Wix. You can move it to somewhere else. If you move it to somewhere else, let's say you went with SiteGround, you are going to go with this hosting, then you have to pick which web application you're going to use to build the website. Is it going to be WordPress, PHP, CSS? different languages, which require you to hire a developer to build that for you. So if you want to move from Wix or Weebly, you can't do that. You're stuck with them. That means if I go with SiteGround, that means I have to transfer the domain, then I have to pay for the monthly hosting services, then I'm going to decide to maybe go with WordPress, which means I'm going to have to rebuild the website from scratch. Make sense? So that's a different. When Crystal's asking me, let's see, CD Ash 3975, thank you for tuning in. It's San Antonio, Texas, my friend. Thank you. Rosalind, what's going on? Good to see you. I'm from here, San Antonio, Texas, 9:19 p.m. Central Time. So does that make Krista? So I already have a website. Awesome. I haven't touched on the website. I went through 2 points. I have still a lot of points to cover, so you're on time. I'm just answering Krista's question right here. So when it comes to web hosting, that's what the web hosting is for. Not the Weebly, not the Wix, not those are different servers altogether. So when you buy the domain, or if you don't buy the domain, you build everything under the application, the platform. So unfortunately, you have no option to move somewhere else. If you want to go solo, let's say I'm going to go with GoDaddy, I'm going to pay them for the web hosting, then you have to decide which application you're going to use. Some of these hosting providers like SiteGround or GoDaddy or WP Engine or whoever, they also have an extra free feature called Site Builder. So if you pay for the domain, you can also build the site from within their own platform for free, right? It's all like a drag and drop. So that's the difference. So when it comes to hosting also, there are different kinds of hosting. There's a shared hosting, dedicated, cloud hosting, and they're all different in prices. Dedicated basically means it's your own box, your own server box. Nobody else going to share it. Shared hosting means a lot of customers going to share that server. Make sense? So that's in a nutshell what web hostings are. Okay, let me go back and see what was our next question. So Krista, let me know if I was able to answer a question about the web hosting. Maybe I can do an extensive live streaming on just about web hosting, so maybe that can explain to you more in detail. I'm just going to put this as a topic. Okay, web hosting. How do we prepare for the voice activation? I'm not sure. Are you talking about the voice search, like the Google Home and the Google search? To do that, you have, well, there is no an actual guideline with a solid proof that if you do this is going to work. There is some suggestion from Search Engine Land, Search Engine Journal, and we did try some of those suggestions, and it did work with some of our clients. The first thing is you have to make sure the website is mobile friendly. The second thing is you have to have a frequently asked question page, which means you have to add tons of awesome, relevant, cool questions with answers that your customer need. If you're a local business, then it's better for you to have the local directories, like, Google My Business page, Yelp, and Facebook and whatnot. And the website has to be super fast. Okay. And the content on the frequently asked question has to be question-based content, like, what, if, what, where, why, and when, those sort of questions. And if you want to dig some of those questions that your customers are asking, go to answerthepublic.com and find those content, okay? I believe I covered subject on voice search before. If you want me to cover it again, we can go through it again, okay? It starts you build my website. Okay, man. Too many workshop, but none in San Diego. What? Come on, Anil. San Diego is full of meetups, man. Just go to the meetup.com, type digital marketing, type WordPress. You will find tons of events and workshop in San Antonio. It has to be. I've been there a couple of times. They're full of stuff going on there. I'll be out of town. Okay. Crossing as a website. Yes. Okay. Fat Cow, GoDaddy. Yeah, Fat Cow, GoDaddy, all these company, you buy the domain name through them. That's called domain registration. But they also offer a hosting service where you can build a website with those companies. Like Fat Cow offers it, GoDaddy offers it. They even have a site builder similar to what Wix and Weebly does, right? Or you can just decide which application of the web programming you want to go with. If it's a WordPress or a PHP or whatnot, you can, not you, but the developer can build on those. So when you pay for the hosting, they build the website on that hosting. So think of the hosting like your refrigerator or house, where you host all the files in. Does that make sense? Rosalind said, I paid a monthly service for my website. Okay, did you pay for the website or for the hosting? It's two different things. Or maybe paid a company to build that for you. So what does Fat Cow do? Fat Cow, like I said, they provide domain and hosting. Fat Cow. Just like GoDaddy, they provide domain registration services and they provide web hosting as well. And they also have, site builders. But if you build it on Fat Cow, you cannot move it to another hosting. Do you understand that? Like when you build on a so-called website builder, that's their own application. If you move it to a different application, you can't. It's like saying that I have a BMW, I want to transfer BMW to Corolla. It's not going to happen. Okay? Maybe you can design the Corolla to look like BMW, but the engine is still Corolla, right? So this is Fat Cow, right? They offer domain services, right? They offer domain services. What else they do? They offer hosting. Man, their website is slow. Let me remove the ad. So this is Fat Cow, just like GoDaddy. They're just domain providers, right? And hosting providers. So they have, let's see, here you go. They have web hosting services, which you did not get. The only thing you got is the domain name. Then you made Weebly. Then you basically sign up with Weebly, and you're building the site on Weebly, not on Fat Cow. Fat Cow only has your domain name. See, they have hosting services. Different hosting services. You can use WordPress as well with Fat Cow. See, they offer that too. See, WordPress blog. So that's Fat Cow. Hope that makes sense. Okay, how do I move my website independently? How can I go live on my website? I do not understand your question, Rosalind. What do you mean? I mean, you already have a website, right? What do you mean you want to move it independently? You can't be independent. You have to use these companies. You have to get the domain from GoDaddy. If you're paying for the web hosting service, you have to still use them. The website doesn't exist without these companies by itself. Make sense? Does that make sense? So, can have a website without a server. I mean, you are not doing them in San Diego. But Anil, you can share my live streaming where you at in San Diego, right? To be honest with you, if you want to set up an event, teach student, pay for the ticket, I'll come. Okay, I'll come and teach. How do I get out of the monthly payment? Rosalind, I don't understand. You can't. If you're paying for... First of all, Rosalind, there's no free website. Okay, the only free one is from Google My Business page, which looks very simple and basic. You can even, memorize the link. But website is not free. You have to pay for the domain. Legally, you have to pay for the domain. You cannot get a free domain. I mean, you have a domain name for your company. You have to pay a domain provider. That's just like the law of the internet. Okay? And when it comes to hosting, this is where you're going to build a website. So it's like a service, a computer. A computer has your website, and the internet accesses the computer to view your website. So the internet exists in a bunch of servers. The internet don't exist on the air. Okay, right, Anil? So, okay. All right, let's go back. These are amazing questions from Rosalind and Krista and Dennis. Thank you. So let's go back to how your website can work for you or against you. So I talked about the first point was identifying your ideal customer, and the second thing, your website has to be mobile friendly. And I shared that link to show you that tool that I showed you how you can check and see if your website is mobile friendly or not. And by the way, folks, if y'all enjoying this live streaming, why don't you do me a favor and tag some of your cool friends that will appreciate this, or invite them, or share this. What is the best way to get started? Well, it depends. If you say get started, first of all, before building a site, I talked about this before, you have to know what type of business you're in, who is your customer, who is your ideal audience. You have to research them, right? You have to understand what I'm selling and to who I'm selling. Then you have to come with a strategy. The strategy is, when they visit my website, what do I want them to do, right? Do I want them to subscribe? Do I want them to book an appointment? Do I want them to schedule an appointment? Do I want to grab their name and email addresses? You have to have all these plans, right? and know the audience, come with a plan. What do you want them to do on the website? How many pages do you need and why do you need them? And what do you want to achieve from the website? Do you want to make money? If you want to make money, how are you going to make it? Right? That should be the priority before talking about how to get started, right? Okay, so travel agency. It's a travel agency. Okay. If it's a travel agency, are you a travel blogger or an actual agency with a store? Because for that, I can give you some step-by-step things to follow. Krista, let's see. If I'm a life coach, what could I offer a prospect to capture their name and email? That's an excellent question. Well, as a life coach, you know what is good for your customer, right? You know what's good for them. So you have to give them something of high value. When I say value, it could be a video that teaches them something at no cost, or a cheat sheet, or a PDF, or a white paper, or some sort of ebook, something that when they look at it and they take it and they apply it, there is some sort of results happening for them, not just theories, not just all these nonsense, goofy, clickbait stuff. Something really, really good. Something like you might pay for it. If you're going to pay for this, give it to them at no cost. That's how you capture them, with having them enter their name and email addresses. But you also have to use a third-party services like MailChimp, MailerLite to do that capturing of the leads. Okay. Let's see. I've been reading about one-page website. How effective is that? Oh, you mean just like one page that you scroll all the way from the bottom to the top? If that's how it's designed for the ideal audience, if the customers, when they visit the website, that's what they're doing, that's what they're enjoying, then it's good for the customer. Makes sense? But I recommend that the website should have several pages, because the search engine, in order for your website, if you want the Google search to bring to you more targeted traffic, that means you are putting tons of high quality content that your audience is going to appreciate and read and share. So the more you put, the more visibility, the more discovery, the more pushing of the link coming to your site. If you have a thin content, not enough information, and just one page, how does the search bot going to come and read all this content over and over? It won't. Does that make sense? So you have to add valuable material that your customers are hungry to keep learning. Make sense? Rosalind said, I want them to buy. Rosalind, I'm completely lost. Let's see. CD Ash 397, it's an online agency. So is your travel agency? So I'm assuming your travel agency don't have a store. It's just online based. Share the link so I can check the site for you. Yeah, bro. You can create a cheat sheet listing some tips and give that always as a freebie. There you go, Anil. Thank you for the tip. Michelle Hayward, what's going on? You tuned in from Periscope. That's nice. Let's see. Okay. CD Ash, or I don't know, CD Ash 3975. If you don't mind, post your link. Let me look at it real quick. Okay. These are amazing questions. I haven't even got to. I have like probably, I don't know, 20 tips. I haven't got to. I only just went to 2 of them. Yes, I do make logos. Yes, we do. Home-based business. Home-based business. Are these one of those, what do you call it, direct sale, multi-level network marketing? I don't have the domain as I get yet. Okay. Let me get back to you, because there's a lot of challenges there. Because if it's a home business, if I'm thinking what I'm thinking, if it's one of those direct sale, multi-level network marketing, you have to check with the company's policy, like how far and how much you can use the site and the social media to brand the business. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because when you say home business, that's what I can think of. Anyway, I'll get back to keep give me more information, because if you give me more information, I will able to understand. Because when you tell me home agency and online, then you say there's no site, I'm confused. Okay, confusion. Tips on how the website is going to go against you. Identify the audience. Website has to be mobile friendly. Number 3, is your website easy to use? Okay, a lot of time we tend to forget about user experience. Is your website easy to use? That means, is it pretty fast? Is it easy for the viewers when the website visitor come to the website? Is it easy for them to navigate easily? Is it easy for them to find what they're looking for? Okay, so CD Ash 3975, don't leave, stay. I will help you, but I do need more information to help you because there's so much stuff I can tell you. It's like telling me how to build a house. I'm like, well, I mean, show me the location first, show me the blueprint, and show me the contract. Then I can tell how it's going to be built. Okay, okay. I need a logo from outside. Okay, no problem. Send me my email address, yusufchowdhury@gmail.com. You know what I mean? I do want to get into. I don't want to talk about the travel agency stuff, but let me go through these points, then get back to you. What I need from you to tell me is that be very clear with me, man, or a woman. I don't know what that name is. Is this home business? When did you start? Are you starting? I need more information because if it's a store, first thing you have to do is the local listing. Then the website has to be targeted for the audience, and then the website has to be built in a way that attracts the audience that are looking for the information and taking some action. If it's online only, then that means you have to focus on paid traffic and organic traffic. Organic traffic takes time. Paid traffic, you can invest in Google ads and Bing ads and whatnot. And there are a lot of strategies that you can implement to get this target audience to take some action. So you see, that's simple how I put it, but we can get into the detail if you give me detailed information. How much do you build a logo for? I start with $300, Rosalind. Okay, that's my minimum startup. 3 design and up to 5 mockups. Okay. All right, going back to the tips. Identify audience. Your website has to be mobile friendly. And is your website easy to use? Okay, remember that. Is your website easy to use? One second. So that was a tip number 3. Is your website easy to use? Number 4. Does everything on your website works or not? So make sure all the links works, all the clicks works. Make sense? Nothing there that breaks. Okay, this is very common that I see in some sites. Okay, so number 4 is make sure that everything on the website works. Otherwise, if it doesn't, it works against you, right? Number 5, does your website have a lead capture? So what I mean by that, imagine after several months, you are getting like 50 to maybe 100 visitors every day on your website. Now this is like opening an ice cream store, right? And the open sign is off, and you have 10,000 people just walking by, right? Same thing with the website. If you have visitors coming in, don't you want to grab them? I'm not like literally grab them, but don't you want to capture them, right? So if you capture them, you have to give them, like what Chris was asking about, how can I capture the traffic? You have to have some sort of great offer. So you have to use a lead capture for every 100 visitors that come to the website. Why can I not, grab those visitors, put them in my list, give them more content, like valuable content, so I can build that trust and eventually make them become my customer. Make sense? So make sure that if your website has a lead capture, that's number 5. Number 6. Let's see, number 6. And number 6 deals mostly, what's the number 6? Let's see, number 6. Number 6, did you install Google Analytics or Search Console? That's number 6. And Search Console. Your website must have Google Analytics. Why? Because you need to understand what's happening to the site. Are my target audience doing exactly what I want them to do? Are they liking the site? Are they spending their time on the website? How many minutes they're spending their time on the pages? which pages they're going to, what are they clicking. If you have a call to action button for every 100 visitor, how many of them subscribing to that button, right? So you definitely need to have Google Analytics and also Google Search Console. So that's number 6. Okay, that's number 6. Because once, and I'm going to talk about the analytics in a few minutes. Let's see. Number 7, do you have social media channels or icons on the website? And even if you do, you have to make sure that you are active on those channels as well. Does that make sense? I mean, you don't want to have a social media icons or account and your visitor coming to the website and you want them to set up an appointment. You don't want them to get distracted. So maybe you put the social media icon on the bottom. When they click on it, it will take them to your Facebook or Instagram and whatnot. These social channels, it must have the same content that you offer on the website, on the channel itself. Make sense? So whatever you're offering on the website, those sort of material has to exist on the social channel. It has to be active. There has to be some sort of engagement. So when they click on Facebook, they can see, oh, they've just posted something today, something valuable, something good for the audience. You can't leave those social channels completely dead. You know what I mean? So make sure that if you have a social media channels, make sure there is a lot of activities, good activities with good engagement. So that's number 7. Number 8, no blog. You see what happens when you build a fancy website and the content are good, about the company, the services, how to get in touch, and all the stuff is there. But if you don't provide content on a consistent basis, how do you expect the search engine to come back, re-index everything, and look at the new information and put them on the index server? So when somebody, a target audience, types some sort of key phrases or questions, how can they push that material for the specific audience? So you have to write, not for the sake of writing, not for the sake of SEO. You have to provide amazing material for your customer. If they're going to enjoy it, if they're reading it, if they're finding the answer, they're going to share it, and that's how the search engine is going to look at it, and it's going to send more traffic. That's how the keyword discoverability happens. So the more content you have, the more keywords going to basically allow your website to show up on the search engine. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So make sure you have a blog. That's number 8. Number 9, outdated website content. So that means the bottom says 2015, right? The contents are old. If anything's changed, no change in the content. The backend is not up to date. So that's what I mean by outdated content. That's number 9. Now, number 10, I can say number 10 like number 1, and that is, what is the primary objective and the mission, and this is also for CD Ash 3975. When you build a website, even Dennis asked me this in the beginning, before the design comes the customer, which is you, right? Then after that, who is your customer? You as a client, for example, who is your customers? If I'm going to start a yoga clinic, yoga workshop, yoga gym, right? I'm going to have to focus on audience that love yoga or that want to do yoga. Maybe their age group, maybe their gender. Makes sense? You have to identify those, because if let's say for example, I'm focusing on teaching yogas to professionals, let's say professionals who work like crazy hours and they don't have the time to go to the gym except for this maybe specific time. Let's say I'm just focusing on them, maybe 35 years old all the way to 45. That's my audience, and it has to be professionals, for example. Make sense? So you have to identify who is the audience. Based on that, I can build the site. Then I can have a plan. Okay, when they come to my website, I'm going to show them this 30-second video about why this gym going to benefit them. There's 3 bullet points, and the content or the message that I'm going to address my audience is going to be in the first person, but not about me. It's about them. So I'm going to say, are you a professional business worker or a man or a woman that are so busy, blah, 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 but wants to get something good in life and health and yada, 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 right? So I'm addressing them, and guess what? I'm addressing them because they're more important. Then after that, in a few sentences, I'll be the solution. You know what? We have the solution for you to, X, Y, and Z, and this is why you need to, for example, sign up. Make sense? So think about your primary mission, your main objective. Is it to sign up for newsletter, or is it to book an appointment, or purchase a product or services, or to contact you? Make sense? So that's number 10. Number 11, you have to set up some type of backup, right, in case something happened to the website. So whoever the hosting provider, most of them come with a backup service. But I recommend, if you build a site on WordPress, there's a plugin called the Updraft Plus. You can use that plugin to back up your website on a monthly basis. You can take it to your server, you can download it to your Google Drive or your local machine, is up to you. And number 12, security. Is your website protected from hacking or cybersecurity, anything like that, right? So you need to add a plugin on WordPress called Sucuri or Word Defense. So these are some of the tips that I shared with you guys tonight that can actually hurt you if you don't implement it. The website can go against you if you don't apply these. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Tina, what's going on? How are you? Which platform do you recommend a website for a coach, mentor, or sales? Excellent question. Well, when it comes to building a site, really, the platform doesn't matter, to be honest with you. What matters is how do you want the website to be structured for your customers, right? I personally, we build sites on WordPress. That's what I recommend. I'm biased because that's what we build it on, but it's not necessary. There are some people build it on different application. So if you don't care about who's going to manage it, who's going to update it, who's going to tweak it, sure. But if you want to manage it by yourself, then of course go with WordPress, because there are certain things that you can change it by yourself. You can even go with Wix or Weebly or Squarespace. It's all drag and drop. You pay them monthly, and that's about it. But if you want to move from that platform, you can't. If you want to expand it and customize it, you are very limited. If you want to implement on-page SEO, you can even do that. So that's why I build site on WordPress or self-hosted WordPress, because when the customer requests something complicated, there's so many plugins out there for those complicated tasks, or plugins that we can recustomize it, so that way it will not cost the client like $50,000 or $100,000. Instead of that, they might end up paying like $20,000 or whatnot for a complicated project, for example, right? So that's why I personally recommend WordPress self-hosted, because if you want to add a few things in the future, you can update it. You can also hire a WordPress developer so they can go in the back end and do a full customization, right? So that's my personal recommendation, and that's what we do when we build the website for our customers. All our customers are built on WordPress. We do not build on any other platform. Several years ago, there was some that was built on ASP.NET, which is an old school platform, very heavy. There was some on PHP, but I use WordPress. Okay. All right. So these are the 12 tips when it comes to when and how the website can work for you or against you. Okay. So let me know if anybody else has any questions. Marisol is not here tonight. I wanted to really analyze her website and look at the local listing. If she comes back online, then we'll go ahead and do that. It is 9:47 p.m. Central Time. Let me go ahead and recap what we talked about. We talked about how the website can go against you or work against you or for you if you do or if you don't follow these rules. The first thing I talked about, you must always identify who is your audience. Okay? Then you come with a strategy to basically show them when they visit the website, what do they need to do. This is very important, y'all. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, your website has to be mobile friendly, and we shared a tool from Google to do that. Can a website upgrade? It depends. If you go with Weebly, Wix, and Squarespace, and Shopify, and BigCommerce, they have their own upgraded services. If you go with GoDaddy and hosting with GoDaddy, and if you install WordPress, yeah, it can be upgraded. Upgraded in the sense that every time WordPress releases an update, you have to update it. If that's what you mean, then yes, you can do that. But there's some skills and technique that you have to know before you do that. Okay. But if you want to transfer, let's say you build the website on Wix and you want to move it completely to a hosting service, that's not going to happen because Wix is a different program. So you have to rebuild it from scratch on somewhere else. Krista, if you don't use WordPress, how could we do a backup. If you are with Wix and Weebly and Squarespace, they do the backup. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, because you're paying them monthly, they have to make sure that your website always stays up. So there's no backup needed. Okay? But the thing is, you are under their mercy, which means everything is under them. So if you don't pay, they can shut it down. All right? So you have to basically copy all the content on a Word document or take a snapshot using an awesome screenshot Chrome extension just to basically save it on your Google Drive or Google Docs, in case you're not able to pay them, or you want to make sure that if the account shuts down, you can have somebody else rebuild it somewhere else by viewing those pages. You know what I mean? So let me recap. Identify your audience. Make sure your website is mobile friendly. Number 2, is your website easy to navigate? Number 3, does everything on your website works? Number 4, do you have a lead capture on the website? And let's see, number 5. What is number 5? Number 5, do you have Google Analytics? Number 6, do you have a social media icons? Are they active? Number 7, do you have a blog? Number 9, are the content outdated or updated, like in terms of content, not the back end? So number 8. Number 9, think about the primary objective. And 10, are you backed up? If you use self-hosted WordPress, do you have like some sort of backup plugin? And number 11, are you protected? What was number 6? What was number 6? I missed one. Or number 12. If I miss anything about how can the website work against you or for you, especially with the mobile device. When it comes to the mobile device, you have to make sure that the phones are clickable, the fonts are bigger, right? Not like so small, right? And the font, besides being like 14, 16 inch, it has to be dark, so it'll be easy to see and easy to scroll up and down, right? So that's, I think, the 12 on the mobile. Let's see, I'm selling hair, but I want to add skincare and their products on my website. Well, is your website, I don't remember, I know you showed me 2 sites before. Is it built on WordPress? If it is, you can add it, right? If it is built on WordPress, if you have a WooCommerce, if you want to add that, you can do it, on the website. Okay, it is 9:51 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully tonight's session was beneficial for y'all. And as I mentioned, if y'all can share this, I would highly appreciate it. If you can tag some of your colleagues or invite, I would highly appreciate it as well. Yeah, because even selecting a platform and on whatnot, I try to focus and teach businesses like, listen, before even you must welcome Krista, before even deciding, right? Before even deciding to buy a domain name or a website, and this is so common. I mean, I was just talking to one of my friends before I came here tonight when I was doing the class, is that if you know who is your customer, that's number 1. Then number 2, if you know what do you want them to do on the website. Make sense? I'm in 1099 contractor with my host agency. I have to get my own leads for sales. You're like a contractor, so they don't give you an option. Then how do you capture leads? Do you go, how do you sell? I mean, are you like an old school? Do you go from door to door? How does that work? Okay. So going back to the subject, know who is your customer. When you build a website, know and understand what do you want them to do. Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to set up an appointment? Do you want to capture them in emails? Right now I have another client that need help to build a site to teach folks in the military how to invest strategically. Okay, so the way we're talking about this site, when we build it, we talked about, okay, first they need to know who you are. You're targeting them, so that means the copy on the homepage will address them. Are you a military personnel who want to blah blah blah, with the no issues and no problems, stuff like that. I'm blah blah blah, like that. Make sense? So there's going to be some sort of lead capture there. But a brand new military person look at the website. I mean, they're not going to take action quickly. So it has to be some sort of trust factor, right? So we're going to learn more about me. And then he will talk about his background, his 10 years of experience, and what companies he's helped, and testimonies to build that trust, right? Then from there, how it's done, like how this process works, how it can help them. Then how to get started. You see, I'm taking them to that buyer's journey. When they click get started, it's the same call to action button that was on the front of the top page. Make sense? So you're taking them to a journey. Some businesses, let's say for example, if I want to join the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I do a search in Google. Let's see the top locally, which one has 5 stars. Go to the website. The first thing, what are they addressing, right? And what they want me to do, like 30-minute free class, come and visit. Oh, that's nice. Like this place, for example, VenturePoint. VenturePoint, the way they capture leads, when people look for co-working spots, co-working spaces or office spaces, they find the VenturePoint website and there's a call to action. Would you like to visit? To check out the place. So people enter the information, they come and check it out, or they can watch the video, right? But if they're interested in the prices, it will take them to the price sheet and show them all the price for the services. So there's something called buyer's journey. So you have to think from that perspective before even getting the domain and building the site. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why we call this sometimes we call this wireframing, right? But before the wireframing, what do I want the target audience do when they come to my site? Okay, so you said you're getting referrals. You're getting referrals. I don't know, man. If you don't have a website, that's kind of hard. If you don't have a website, if you don't have a local store, that's kind of because the referral is not going to last because everyone, use social media for referral nowadays, right? Like even today, somebody's asking me, another business associate, any photographers and videographers do you know? And I put all of them that I know here in San Antonio, and I referred them. You see, that way, not just me and my friend going to see it, other people going to see it. So you get more referral like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So when it comes to this travel agency, I mean, first you have to find out from the company that if you're allowed to build your own personal travel, website. That's the first thing. If you don't have an office, or if they won't give you the office, then you have to look at what kind of audience you're targeting. And when they come to your website, what do you want them to do? What kind of packages they need to see? There has to be a specific audience that love to travel. You can't just target everybody, right? Like I remember these direct sell companies that offer, I'm not going to mention the name, we probably all know. They come to me and tell me, hey, look, we have an offer. What do you think about this? Would you like to? I said, yeah, I would like to travel. And they're trying to sell. I'm like, first of all, I didn't come to you, right? You offer me this. I'm not even interested. Yes, I would love to travel, but not right now. Make sense? I'm not your customer. I'm not your target audience. So you're actually wasting your time trying to convince everybody to travel. What you need to do is look for somebody that actually want to travel. So that means I'm going to go to Google and find out what do people type when they want to go for vacation, certain places, right? Like affordable traveling, let's say to Cancun, or traveling on a budget. That's why so many successful travel bloggers are doing pretty good, because they travel and they blog about it, they do videos about it, they get a sponsorship money from like the airlines and the hotels and whatnot. Make sense? But they have a strategy in place. They have some sort of strategy. In fact, maybe you should attend one of these events that the Travel Con did. Was it 2 years ago? Travel Con. Basically, all the bloggers, anybody in the travel industry, they actually attended this event, and it's everything about how to blog for traveling. Yes, I could build my own website. If you do build your own website, then as I mentioned before, 5 questions, I think. That is, who is your ideal audience? It doesn't tell me anymore. The first thing is, who is your ideal customer? Okay, don't tell me everybody. Like, really, who is? Is it couple, businesses, corporate, millennials? Who is the audience, right? And once you identify the audience, we call this buyer's persona. The next thing is, how do they behave online? Like, what do they look for online? What do they search for, right? And what kind of companies do show up, for example, right? You can try a website called Answer the Public, and see what kind of questions these audience ask, right? Who is your customer? Once you figure that out, because if you say my customers are newlywed couples, then you're targeting them. That means the way you build the site is going to show newlyweds traveling for honeymoon or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So who is your audience? Who is your customer? You have to research that. If you already know, write it down. It's called. We need more detail, like age group, demographic, income, and all that. Who is your customer? Number 2, what's the let's see. What's the objective of the website? Okay, so you have to make a plan now. Okay, so I know my audience, but you need to have one main primary call to action. What should I, or why should I build the site? For what purposes? What should be my objective? Do I want to capture the name and email so I can give them all the best budgeting information about traveling, right? Do I want them to watch a video? Do I want them to watch a testimony of happy customers, right? Because what happens when you build the website and you're attracting in your ideal customer, you want them to do something. What is that something? You have to figure that out, okay? It can be schedule, it can be book an appointment, buy the ticket, learn more. Whatever you want them to do, you have to track it. Make sense? So that's why you need to have Google Analytics in the Search Console, because you have to track the activities. If they hit the website, are they clicking this call to action? Out of 50 visits, how many actually subscribe, for example, or how many called, or how many signed up, right? So there has to be a clear objective. I know the website has to make money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what is the one main primary call to action that you want the visitor to do when they come to the website. So that's number 2. Number 3, how many pages do you want to create on the website, and why do you want to create them? Like, what's the purpose of the homepage? This is what everyone lands on. What is the purpose of contact us? That means you want the visitor to contact you. What is the purpose of the testimony page? That means credibility. What is the purpose of services? Well, the website visitor need to know what kind of services you offer. What is the purpose of About Us page? Oh, to know about the company. Makes sense? What is the purpose of the blog? Because you're going to add a lot of valuable content that answers the challenges and the question that your audience asks, and you basically answering those questions in a blogging format. You see, there is a reason for every page that you are going to create on the website. Identify what are those pages and why do you need them. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, sorry about that. Number 4, you have to add the Google Analytics and the Google Search Console. Both are free. You have to configure those to your website. And number 5, you have to have a lead capture. So you can use MailChimp or MailerLite. Okay. So once you have all this planned, now we're going to talk about the name of the business or the name of the domain. So when you go to GoReady.com to buy a domain name, you're not just going to think of a name and just put it out there. You got to make sure that name don't exist anywhere. That means no other businesses are using it. So you can use archive.org to make sure that name is not taken. You can check with the city to make sure that DBA does not exist with that name. So now you have to do research to find out that name doesn't exist in terms of .com or .org and whatnot. At the same time, that particular name that you're going to come up with doesn't exist in the social channels, because you are going to create the social channels under your brand name. Make sense? So once you have all these material, then you have to buy the domain. You have to pay them yearly. And of course, like I said, I mean, whichever direction you want to go with. You want to go with the website service-based companies like Weebly, Wix, and Squarespace. You can do that. Or you can build it on WordPress buy the domain name, buying the web hosting, and installing the WordPress and building it also by yourself, which in the future that's actually more powerful, because with WordPress you can add travel plugin for the site. You can do so much stuff with it versus the so-called free sites out there. in a nutshell, that's probably the basic plan for you for now. Okay, so let me know if you have any more questions. CD Ash 3975. It is 10:03 p.m. Central Time right here in San Antonio, Texas. Let me know if you all have any question about websites. I mentioned 12 points on how website can work against you or for you, and answer a couple of questions here and there. So that was awesome. It's funny, I put a post about today's session and I told everybody not to show up, but they did. Okay, any more questions? Any more question, please? You're most welcome. CD Ash 3975. Is that how I'm supposed to say it? If I'm wrong, correct me though, because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that. But yeah, I mean, if you are doing in the travel agency, I mean, let me show you this. 1 second, let me show you TravelCon. I attended this event. It was mostly for bloggers, but I think the founder, Matt Nomad, he's going to do this for the third time, I think. TravelCon. Let's see. Krista, you're most welcome. So here we go. TravelCon. So this guy, he's actually a travel blogger. He started this, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and I attended the event. There were a bunch of folks, and mostly bloggers, but in travel, right? Some of them new, some of them are like been doing it for years. So and attending the event is not that expensive. I think it's a couple of $100, not that much. So this time they're gonna do it in New Orleans, Louisiana. What is that? Yeah. So May 8, 9. So 3 days. Okay. So let's see how much is the ticket. There you go, $400. Okay, it's a 3-day event. So if you want to basically kind of check and see how these travel bloggers are doing, what are they doing? They have a lot of speakers that talks about marketing, blogging, analytics, techniques, and whatnot, and so forth. So if you're interested, just check it out. See, a lot of well-known folks. All these are speakers. Out of photographer network. See, so many of them. 3-day event. Okay, I attended the first time they did it in Austin, Texas. That's the one that I attended. C dash. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I keep saying like C dash. C dash. All right, C dash. That makes sense. Yeah, that's the thing with the Periscope name. I can't figure out like if you did the C capital, D capital, and Ash lowercase, and then that would for me be like, oh, okay, C dash, right? Yeah, C dash. 3975. I really appreciate that you've been tuning in. I appreciate it for real. But if you do have a lot of any, feel free to ask. If I was not able to answer or give you a clear answer or more answers, feel free to ask. Okay. Because I'm live streaming on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube at the moment. So if you want to get in touch with me on Facebook, feel free to do so. Yeah. So check it out, man. I mean, especially if you want to get into blogging as well. I mean, if you are a contractor, you want to sell these traveling packages, understand how blogging works, how this content works, because a lot of these folks, amazingly, they travel the world and under a shoe budget string, and some of them have affiliate, some of them get sponsorship money, many ways to make income through the love of traveling, right? In fact, one of my friends is actually going to start one pretty soon, so I'm going to help him and guide him how to get started. So yeah, if you want to send me more questions, I mean, feel free to connect with me on Facebook and give me more detail, because if you give me more detail, I'll be able to give you answer. Because if the question is too general, it's very hard for me to give a challenge for me to give a detailed answer. Then it's going to be just a general answer. Make sense? So, all right, folks. It is 10:08 p.m. Central Time. Anyone else has any more questions about digital marketing, website, social? Feel free to ask. I'm gonna wait for another 1 or 2 minutes, and if I don't see any questions, I will bounce. Okay? I know it's Friday night, so probably everyone is tired, wanna chill, wanna relax. Okay, I don't see any more questions, but thank you for those who tuned in, and thank you for those who's going to watch the replay. And please make sure you tap the word replay if you watch this as a replay, and don't forget to share it, and leave me any comments or any more question you want me to answer, or any other subject within online marketing or digital marketing that you want me to cover next week. So I do go live Monday to Friday, typically 9 p.m. Central Time, sometimes 10 p.m. I'll do a couple of tests maybe during the day or in the evening if I can. I'll do them, but make sure. No problem, C Dash. I'll be more than happy to help you, but give me more detail so I can guide you and give you the resources that you can start. The most important thing, and that's what I was telling my friend, that you just need to start. Don't worry about all the heavy stuff. Just get started, whatever you can, and step by step, build it step by step. Okay. My Facebook, it should be my full name. Same thing. It should be Yusuf Chowdhury. Let me share the screen for you. Same name as the Periscope. It's the same. Let me show you. So Rosalind said, how can I get more traffic to your website? Two ways, either ads like Google ads, Bing advertising, or social media ads. If you invest in those, you will get more traffic for the purpose of conversion. Once you stop, the traffic drops. The second thing, Rosalind, it's the organic, which is the search engine optimization technique, social media techniques, link building, but that takes time. And the reason it's called organic, because it takes time, okay? So there are probably 100 ways of getting traffic. Maybe that's another subject I'll talk about since you mentioned it. How to get traffic. I'm going to write this subject here. I'll probably cover it next week, okay? So C Dash, that's my Facebook. See, Yusuf Chowdhury, that's my account. So make sure when you connect, leave me a message, because I don't just add everybody. When people don't leave a message, I'm like, who's this? Right? I look up their account. So just let me know that you are at Periscope. Send me a message. I'll connect with you. Then you can give me more information about your concern, and I can give a lot of resources and ideas that you can actually apply it. Makes sense? Something like practical that you can do it, or not all of it, but some of them you can do it by yourself. Okay. So Rosalind, yes, Rose, for traffic, as I mentioned, there is a paid traffic and there is organic traffic. Paid, you just have to invest money ads, right, with Google and Bing and Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, Reddit, and now you have TikTok and Snapchat. And organic, it's a SEO. You have to implement search engine optimization techniques. Our team usually spend like 27 to 50 hours per domain per month for SEO. Then the social media, of course. You promised to give my website. What do you mean? I promised to give your website. C-Dash, you're most welcome, C-Dash. Appreciate it. What do you mean, Rose? I promised to give my website. I don't understand. Me don't understand. Me confusion. I believe I looked at your website and give you some feedback too, right? I ran some analysis, give you all this information. You're supposed to apply those. Did you apply them? Okay. Well, do you have a? Do you have? Okay, so let me know. Let me know if you're really serious, because I know my rate for the hourly. The thing this coming week, I will be. Let's see, I'll be out of town on the 14th for a few days. So that means probably on Friday I'm gonna be able to be live. I'll try to do it from the hotel if I can. And I'll be back on the 19th. So Monday and Tuesday, I'll try to do live if I can. So on Friday the 14th, Monday 17th, Tuesday 18th, I'm gonna be able to be live. I'll see what I can do. That's some to work with you to help me fix some stuff. Okay, I don't recall, but did you email me by any chance? I'll have to double check because I know I have you in my Facebook. All right, let me look at it one more time and see what are the issues that we need to fix, and I'll definitely get back with you because especially some of the stuff for your local shop can be improved to increase client visibility. So no problem. If you're serious, it looks like you're serious. Okay, don't worry, I'll help you. I mean, don't worry about it. We'll do. Excuse me, what is this? It says no. Okay, Rose, any more questions? It is 10:14 p.m. Central Time here in San Antonio, Texas. Friday night. Do you have any more questions? I'll definitely follow up with you. Not this weekend, but coming next week, Monday. Let's see any questions there. I'm gonna wait one more minute, one more, to see if there's any question. I know you can take. I know you can take an hour to get it right. No problem. There are things that, like from the website, for example, if the website was built by another developer, if it's a custom build, then I honestly don't touch it because if I do anything, it can break it, right? In that situation, I have to let a web developer work on it so they can do a full backup and make the changes. If anything breaks, they can fix it. But me personally, I don't have that capability. I'm not a coder, not a programmer, anything like that, right? But if there are things that can be changed without breaking the site, if it's not custom based or custom built, like content adjustment, then that's something easy. Or on-page SEO, yeah, that's something we can definitely do it, right? But the speed of the website, that's technical stuff. That's something that I have to let the developer work on it. Make sense? So there are things, yeah, I can definitely fix. But if it's coding, programming, script, then that's not my area, and I don't want to mess with it because it can cause more harm than fixing it. That's why I have smart people that work for me, and I let them do the work. So let me know if you still have any more questions before I bounce. It is 10:16. Let me know if you have any more questions. I want to start getting stuff. For which one? For the hair business or the let's see. You're feeling sleepy. Yeah, it's almost okay. Good night. Thanks for coming in. And we can follow up on Facebook, okay? We can follow up more through Facebook messages, DM messages, or through the email. So no worries. No worries. Okay. All right. Let's. I'll go back and look at it one more time and see which area we can work on to increase. All right. No problemo. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and bye. If you're watching this as the replay, please type replay and leave me any more questions or any other topic you want me to cover. I'll see you all back on Monday in 9 p.m. Central Time. Bye bye for now. You all have an awesome weekend and don't work too hard.